I would not want to be quietly fired. I would just get it over with. Rip the band-aid off so I can move on with my life. Hey lovely people, it's me, Jess, corporate recruiter, and I am back with another video. And today I'm going to be talking about quiet firing. Now, you know, a couple of months ago, 4 months ago, we talked about quiet quitting. And so if you're interested in finding out what quiet quitting is, check out that video. I'll put it somewhere in here or at least in the description below. Now, quiet firing. It's a new term, but it's not a new thing. Companies have done this for years. Now, it's basically when a company wants you to leave, but they're not going to directly fire you. So they don't want to terminate you. They want you to leave of your own accord. And it can be called being pushed out. It could be called managed out, but essentially they want you to leave. And right now it's being called quiet firing. Now, there are a couple of signs that I have seen in my career as an HR business partner, as a recruiter, even as a trainer. Any company I've been at, you can kind of see when someone is being pushed out. And it could be that they want you to either leave your role and they're trying to push you into another role, or they want you to just leave the company altogether. So some signs may be, one, your manager just is never available to you, but they may be available to other folks on your team. You want to meet with them, they don't have the time. They need to push meetings, but other team members are getting time with your manager. Now, this could just be a sign that your manager doesn't particularly like you, or they may be playing favoritism, but it may also be a subtle sign that they may be pushing you out the door. The next thing is that you have been asking for training and professional development opportunities and you're not getting anything, maybe even projects that you want to be on. They look past you every time and they give the opportunity to someone else on your team. Now, this is another subtle way that the company may be quietly firing you. So that's a big one because, it's subtle enough, but it's obvious that if someone is not getting what they need professionally, they're likely going to leave on their own accord. The next one I want to talk about is going to be when there are changes to your role that you didn't agree to. So they're just, your manager's coming to you saying, oh, I know you like doing this, but we're going to put you over here. No real explanation of why, no conversation. Now, sometimes things just have to happen and it is what it is. People with a higher pay grade have made the decision and it's coming down on you. They'll likely explain these things to you and it'll be a conversation versus, hey, we're doing this, we're changing that, we're changing this and this and this. If your role is changing significantly, they may be just trying to push you out of your role, right? And saying, hey, you need to be doing this. Or you could also be slowly getting pushed out of the company. All right, now this is probably the biggest one. And this can push people to leave very quickly. And this is when you're on a team and you see other people getting raises and promotions and advancing in their career, and you're the only one that's not getting those opportunities. You're not getting raises, you're not getting promotions. And this is it's subtle, but it's one that really hits people heavy because it hurts to see this person and that person, and from what you can see, you're all doing the same work, right? Now, if you've been slacking, you're just coasting through. I mean, you don't really expect promotions. If you're like doing mediocre work, you're kind of barely doing your job, that's another story. I'm talking about someone that is, they're doing their job effectively, just like the rest of the team, maybe even better than other team members, and you're not getting raises and promotions and great feedback openly, folks aren't saying, hooray, haha, congratulations. Your manager's not doing any of that. They're just doing that to other team members. Now, it could be other issues in there. It could just be due to your manager. But if this is consistent, you've even talked to HR about it, and it's just continuing, there may be a plan to push you out. And I would say if you're seeing all of these, likely you may be getting what we can call managed out, pushed out, quietly fired. So I've seen these things happen. It's not called quietly firing, or it hasn't been in the past. However, today we're calling it that. So those are my thoughts on just what it looks like and some of the signs that might give you an idea that you might be getting pushed out or quietly fired. But it's not always the case. You just have to assess your scenario and what's been going on. But again, these are the signs. Now, do I agree with it? You all know me. Well, some of you don't know me, but if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I like transparency. So I don't like the quietly firing. I don't like the being pushed out or being managed out. If you're getting rid of someone, I feel like you need to just have a really straight conversation with them and tell them this is not working, that's not working, whatever the reasons are that you're wanting to push them out. Or even having an open conversation of, hey, you're not in the right role, you're great at this, you're not great at that. We want to give you this opportunity over here, and come at them from a different angle. But companies do it. It's not a fake thing. It's not something that folks are just making up. It's definitely real. And I don't really agree with it. Now, I get the idea of slowly pushing, I get why, like slowly pushing someone out so they can look for a job, and you're not saying, hey, we're terminating you, and their whole life is just rocked, right? I can get that, but have a conversation with them and tell them there should be signs. Now, I just thought of another one, actually. I did just think about another one. Your performance. If you are getting placed on a performance improvement plan, that may be a sign that you're close to getting fired. Now, the thing about quietly quitting and quietly firing is that eventually, with quiet quitting, you're going to just quit. Likely there's going to be a point, like you're building up to the point to quit is kind of the end game, right? Quietly firing is this slow process, right, of firing. Like they're getting to that point. So if you're getting put on a performance improvement plan, that may be another sign that the company is quietly firing you. Now, if you were to just turn things around and whatever it is with your performance is lackluster to the company or to your management, that could change. But at that point, you're getting closer to that point of the company actually firing you. So people can get put on a performance improvement plan, right? The sign of quiet firing is it's just an outrageous performance improvement plan. Like there's no real things that you need to do. It's just subjective, nothing like tactful that you can actually do to improve. It's just very ambiguous. Oh, you should communicate better. You need to make better connections with your colleagues. It's not a reason to put someone on a performance improvement plan. Oh, you're too much of an introvert. You need to be more outgoing. You need to go to more team events. No, that's not direct to your performance. That has nothing to do with your performance. So when I'm talking about the performance improvement plan, please know that I'm talking about those kind of plans that are just like, okay, how am I even supposed to improve, right? Now, if it's real things like, oh, you need to improve on your execution of these tasks, you need to improve your understanding of X, Y, and Z by taking this training. You don't know X, Y, Z, and that's hindering that's impacting your work or something like that. It has to be tied to your work. If it's not tied to your work, if it's not things that you can actually clearly change, they're quietly firing you. Just my thoughts. Overall, I do just want to make this clear. For me, I would not want to be quietly fired. I would just get it over with. Rip the band-aid off so I can move on with my life. Essentially, quiet firing is treating an employee badly so that they will leave. I think that's just a toxic workplace if they're doing this. Like, if you're in a place that's doing something like this, I think that's toxic. And yes, you should go ahead and leave, but a lot of folks are loyal. Like, there are plenty of folks that are really loyal to companies and they won't leave. They're thinking they're doing a good job. No one sat them down and said, look, this is what's going on. No, they will stay and just be treated unfairly or badly. It's just not right. So just tell them, and so they can move on with their life and they can be in a role and with a company that values them, that welcomes them with open arms, that appreciates them and all of that, versus just having someone there treated badly. Clearly the company's not getting a lot of benefit of having them there if they want them to leave, and then that person is not getting a lot of benefit other than maybe a paycheck because they're not treated well. I mean, if you're not getting professional development, if you're told you have to meet these subjective standards and put on a performance improvement plan that doesn't make any sense, you're not given the same opportunities as others, you're kind of looked over, overall just mistreated, that's not right. That's not right at the end of the day. Just my thoughts again, my opinion, does not reflect anyone else. Let me know if you agree with me on that or if you disagree. We can have a discussion. I'm open to it. And with the whole quiet firing is the company doesn't want to fire you. They don't want to. And if things don't change, if things don't improve, whatever the scenario is, likely the actual firing will come. So there's normally signs before a person is fired. There's normally signs before a person quits their job. And so we just have to pay attention to those things. Anyway, that's just my viewpoint on it. Again, I'm not fully for the quiet quitting or the quiet firing, but it depends on the person's case. It really depends on every person's scenario. Those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, lovely people.